I think he's taking steroids. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. 100%. I'm willing to bet that. All the money that I have, I'd bet.
I've always had my suspicions, and
The boxing world was rocked by sudden reports claiming Jake Paul tested positive for steroids just weeks before his highly anticipated fight with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. And if the claims are true, the fallout could be massive. This wouldn't just cancel the fight, it could seriously threaten Jake Paul's future in boxing, since this bout was meant to be his biggest move toward real credibility in the sport rather than another exhibition. Now that moment of progress could quickly turn into a major setback. The big question is whether there's any truth behind the allegations, or if this is simply online chaos spiraling out of control ahead of fight night. Even before the steroid rumors, the matchup was already one of the most debated fights of 2025, featuring a 195-pound catchweight and a clear size and background contrast between a larger YouTuber-turned-boxer and a smaller, proven knockout artist who normally fights at 135 pounds, leading many fans to label it a spectacle long before the controversy erupted.
Bothered me at first, but and for a very short time, obviously it's not too much you could do about it if a guy doesn't want to fight you. But my thing is, just handle the business right. That's all. Just handle the business right. Don't think you're going to do bad business with me and think it's just going to be okay. No, we're going to call you out every single time. Don't duck a fight with me and fight a YouTuber that's 200 pounds and think it's okay. It's not okay. I don't care what, unless you took the proper, steps to do so. You could have told me that. You could have told me, all right, look, we're gonna take this Jake Paul fight, or your team could have reached out and be like, all right, look, we're gonna take the Jake Paul fight, and we'll circle back, or we won't. We just don't want to fight. It's cool, all right, but we're contracted to fight for a certain amount of purse and whatever the case may be. It's not, it don't work like that. You can't breach a contract.
With fresh reports claiming Jake Paul tested positive for steroids, the fight may not even make it to November, throwing everything into uncertainty. However, it's important to note that this isn't the first time he's faced accusations of using performance-enhancing substances, as similar rumors have surrounded him since the very beginning of his boxing journey.
Are you on performance-enhancing drugs?
If taking Viagra counts, then yes.
Back in 2021, when Jake Paul was knocking out former UFC fighters like Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, critics were already questioning how quickly his physique had changed. The accusations grew louder during his very public clash with UFC President Dana White, who bluntly accused Jake of cheating and challenged him to years of random steroid testing, a moment that spread everywhere online. Jake brushed it off and insisted he had never used anything illegal, but the doubts never really went away. Then in 2023, the conversation flared up again when MMA fighter Dylan Dennis posted photos of Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and KSI with a caption warning people not to use steroids, once again fueling speculation that has followed Jake since the start of his boxing career.
Educate says I do steroids.
I think he's on a bunch of steroids.
Yeah, so those aren't allowed in the sports that I do, boxing or WWE. So go yourself.
Can I?
He went further by highlighting things like acne and hair loss, which are often linked to steroid use, adding even more fuel to the conspiracy theories that Jake Paul's physique wasn't completely natural.
Speaking of bumps,
went right over it.
Those little bumps you had on your face kind of alarmed me. You wouldn't be having to take PEDs, are you?
Listen, if you want to build in excuses right now,
No, I'm just asking.
go ahead.
Because I was just wondering. I looked at your face, it looked kind of serious. You had some rage and you acting all unorthodox. Those are signs of the PEDs.
I'm enraged. I'm not enraged at all.
Are you taking PEDs?
No, sir.
Not at all. Okay.
No, sir.
That's
Do you
what
think
I
he's on
feel like.
PEDs?
I don't care. You can be on horse tranquilizer steroids. You can get a whole new body from Walmart. You're still getting slapped.
Today, right before the biggest fight of his career, everything seems to be falling apart for Jake as news spread that he allegedly failed a random drug test. While nothing has been officially confirmed, fans aren't waiting for proof. They've already judged him harshly, flooding social media with brutal comments and calling him out as a cheat. Critics are piling on, pointing to his heavy reliance on supplements, and even boxing experts like Shakur Stevenson and Lamont Roach have said from the start that this fight looked more like a circus than a serious matchup.
But the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting.
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport.
if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove me. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Took a circus show fight, and he said he was gonna retire. I believe him.
Why do you say he's a circus show fight?
It's just for giggles. Jake Paul's 200 pounds, and he's whatever he is. So
I spoke to Roberto Diaz over in Florida, and I know he's part of your team. He was a little bit upset when all that news came out. He called it a duck. Would you call it a duck?
For sure. You can call a spade, for sure. If we're contracted to fight and you go and take another fight, you breach that contract, and you go take another fight, that's a clear duck. I mean, obviously.
People are now saying, "We told you so," because Jake's dramatic body transformation has always caught attention. Back in 2020, when he first appeared, he was lean, soft, and around 190 pounds. But by 2024, before his fight with Mike Tyson, he was ripped, full of muscle, and walking around at 225 pounds. Even Mike Perry joked about how someone could put on 25 pounds like that without a cheat code. But here's the twist. Jake seemed ready for this. In September, just weeks ago, he told TMZ Sports that steroid claims wouldn't stick because he's under full random drug testing, and even dared anyone to show up at his door to test him. He threatened legal action against false claims and said he was flattered that people thought he might be too good to be clean. So now the question is, if he's really been tested all along, where is this positive test coming from? Is it fake news, or did someone finally catch him? The situation is raising more questions than answers and keeping fans and critics glued to every update.
Always love to make rumors up about me, but I do drug testing, the commission drug testing right before the fight, all these types of things.
They should focus on Canelo and his team, not on Jake Paul.
Yeah,
Jake Paul has been clean.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy that people that actually pop for this they don't call him out. And then I'm over here looking like a doughboy. I got love handles, dog. That's after not eating for 3 weeks, basically. So if I was on that it wasn't working.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
The timing is also raising eyebrows. Jake is scheduled to fight Gervonta Davis on November 15th in Miami, a matchup many already consider risky. The size difference is huge. Jake is 6 feet 1 inch and naturally around 195 pounds, while Tank stands just 5 feet 5 inches and weighs barely 135 pounds. Even with a catch weight in place, that's still a 60-pound gap, making the fight a serious challenge for both men.
Is happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seems set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
Fighters like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia didn't hold back, blasting the matchup online. Haney even said, "This isn't boxing anymore, it's WWE with gloves," showing just how controversial and mismatched many see this fight.
Jake Paul versus Tank, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone's talking about it. It's a whole thing. A lot of people liked it, didn't like it.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you first saw that it was a thing?
It pissed me the fuck off, bro.
Yeah, why?
It just disappointing on mainly Jake's end. You know, we're not falling for the Disney Channel bit no more. We're not falling for you're not a fighter no more. We're not falling for that. You know, you're ranked as a cruiserweight and you're out here trying to fight a lightweight. And then on top of it, you were just talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. that doesn't make no sense. And, you know, I just felt like it was a disgrace to boxing, and kind of it was not a good move by Jake Paul. You know, I understand people saying, you know, Gervonta got to go get his money, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, we're not talking about that shit. We're talking about the sport, bro. We're not talking about, oh, you got to get that money, bro. Yeah, but everybody's open to criticism. That's the whole point of this media shit. That's why they talk about basketball players. They don't talk about, well, LeBron's making too much. Like, nobody cares, bro. If LeBron's missing the shot, he's missing the fucking shot. So at the end of the day, bro, I just thought it was a disgrace to the sport. Because on one end, you know, you got the casuals, right? The casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Yeah. And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Fans were already mocking the fight as a money grab, but if Jake is on steroids, it takes the criticism to a whole new level, going from a joke to something potentially illegal.
I think Tank never gave us the fights that we really wanted, never really gave us those challenges. He never really challenged himself. He didn't give Rhodes that rematch, which he should have. You know, Mayweather did it when he had a hard time with Maidana and Castillo. Right away, he did the rematches to prove everybody wrong, and look at what he did. He beat him clearly. So Tank should have done the same. He didn't. That I could criticize, but then at the end also, if you're making 30 to 50 million, I don't even know what he's making to fight, to have an exhibition against just Jake Paul, I would have asked. I would do the same.
Here's the science behind it. Performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs, can make boxers gain muscle faster, recover quicker, and hit harder. That's why agencies like VEDA and USADA are so strict. Even tiny traces of banned substances can lead to a fight being canceled immediately.
All right, I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room. Let's talk about PEDs. Because that's the reason why guys don't fight as often either. They've got to clear their systems from their ped use. So just to be honest, guys. So if you have a fighter who is using something or whatever, you're not going to see them fighting as often, because it's a lot easier to get caught if you're not having that downtime to clear anything out of your system that's not supposed to be there. So let's be serious. I know we don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, but somebody's got to bring it up today.
If Jake's test really came back positive, the fallout wouldn't just affect him. It could shake the entire event. Sponsors might pull out, fight licenses could be suspended, and Gervonta Davis could walk away without even throwing a punch while still getting paid. The Florida State Boxing Commission hasn't made a public statement yet, but insiders say both camps are digging into testing discrepancies, which basically means everyone is in full panic mode and the situation is turning tense and unpredictable.
I think he's taking steroids. Yeah. I do. 100%. I'm willing to bet that. All the money that I have, I'd bet.
I've always had my suspicions, and
and dude, I'm not even sitting here being like, fuck him for that at all. This doesn't make that clear.
Okay. I mean, but in combat sports,
what do you think? Do you think he is or he isn't?
I think he has for sure, but I don't know if he is currently.
Why would he not? Why would he not? If you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's looking in the mirror. He's in his bathroom, and he's like, Dylan, I'm gonna kill this. And he's like injecting his. Because he's like, I gotta protect Nina.
Yeah, facts. And he did. Fair play to him. He did. Listen.
And he's like,
for all the criticisms,
he's looking a little more angular in the face.
The thing I've always thought is like, how do you get bigger and then lean out as you get bigger? I don't know that I'm not.
How do you get bigger and then lean out as you get bigger?
Like, it's usually a process of getting bigger, leaning. He's leaning
now
out
you're on to
as
it.
He's
now you're see, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Meanwhile, Jake's team is denying all the claims. A source close to him told ESPN, Jake hasn't tested positive for anything. This is fake news spread by trolls and haters trying to mess with him before the fight. But this isn't new. Jake has used the same defense for years, calling every accusation a conspiracy. To be fair, much of the chatter has been speculation, but the pattern of denials keeps fueling the controversy and leaving fans divided.
By the way, how much you weigh these days?
I'm heavy. Big boy. 230s.
Damn. All right.
I'm a natural born heavyweight. This is what I was born to do, is to move up into this weight class, and I'm going to show Mike who has the more power, because he's underestimating me. I think everyone else is underestimating me, and I believe that I hit harder.
But this time feels different, because it's not just internet trolls spreading rumors. Credible journalists, insiders, and even rival camps are weighing in. One promoter told Fight Hype, if this test holds, the fight's off. The commission won't clear it, not with that weight gap and all the drug talk. This could end Gervonta versus Jake before it even begins. That said, even before the steroid rumors, the fight was always built for spectacle. Gervonta Davis is a generational talent and one of the hardest punchers pound for pound, while Jake Paul is a YouTuber turned boxer who's been taking on faded MMA stars and semi-retired fighters. Fans know the reality. It's less about proving who's the better boxer and more about who has the bigger brand. With Netflix documentaries, behind-the-scenes filming, and global pay-per-view deals already signed, promoters aren't going to let this fight be cancelled. Even with these steroid whispers, they'll do everything they can to control the narrative and keep the fight alive. You'll likely hear terms like inconclusive results or supplement contamination being thrown around. That's just the standard PR spin. When so much money is at stake, everyone wants to keep the show going.
If you're really not happy with Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What is it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, so fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So it's money-making purposes only, you know. It is what it is, people.
Honestly, it's fair to ask, is Jake Paul using steroids? Over the past 5 years, he's added a lot of muscle, recovers faster than most athletes, and consistently avoids long-term testing. Even Dana White's offer for 2 years of random steroid tests was declined. While Jake claims he's tested by the VA, no official reports, screenshots, or documents have ever been shown. In contrast, fighters like Crawford, Canelo, and Usyk have public VADA results. Jake's tests are always private, coincidence or a sign of special treatment behind boxing's business side, where promoters control testing and celebrity fighters get perks. This isn't just about drugs, it's about image too.
I respect Jake Paul as a marketer, promoter, but as a prize fighter, I don't, because I've been around the game of boxing for over 20 years. If you're calling yourself a professional boxer, stop fighting people that are 50 years old. Bro, he's fighting the retired MMA fighters, you know, the UFC fighters that are like 40 and 50.
You know why? Because you could fix those fights and it's not illegal. It's exhibition.
Jake Paul made his name by defying expectations. When people doubted him in boxing, he knocked out Ben Askren in 1 round. When critics said he couldn't beat a real boxer, he defeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Even after losing to Tommy Fury, he bounced back to beat Mike Perry and outbox Mike Tyson. But if these doping claims are true, everything he's built could collapse instantly. His wins, his reputation, all gone. In boxing, your name is everything, and once people suspect cheating, it can destroy a career.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
there's a huge size advantage, though.
It is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis has stayed quiet, focused on training, while Jake Paul handles the drama in public. So, what's your take? Has Jake been using steroids, or is this just another PR move to sell tickets? And if it's real, should Gervonta even step in the ring with him, or just protect his record? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Fight Field for more boxing updates. Catch you in the next video.